Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my August beauty roundup, where I share all of my thoughts on everything new that I tried throughout the month of August. The good, the bad, the ugly and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so usually these monthly roundup videos are very beauty focused and very heavily makeup focused, with the odd other product thrown in whenever I feel like it's a must talk about, it's a must share the love or the discovery that I have made. And this is one of those months, because this month I want to talk about this bag that I purchased from BEIS. Is that how you pronounce that? BEIS? BEIS. I don't know. This is Shay Mitchell's brand, and this is the convertible weekender bag. I'm going to put it down because it's too large, but we'll put up a little picture somewhere instead so you can see that without it being, you know, in half the screen. So this is a convertible weekend type of bag, and throughout the last 7 or so weeks my children have been on their school holidays, and we always do a lot of little trips in the school holidays. We visit family, we go here and there, we spend some time at the beach, we go up north, we go on lots of sort of 3 or 4 day little trips of visiting everybody in that time that we have, that precious family time. And so I've had my eye on sort of various weekend bags, because the one I've got is literally on its last legs. I have ordered one bag previously from this brand, have I? Which was their bum bag, as we call it in the UK. Do you guys call it a fanny pack? I can't say that, I'm afraid. That has a different meaning here. So I'm afraid those words, I'm not comfortable with it. It's just not a word you'd walk about saying here. But we call them bum bags, and I was really impressed with just the functionality of it. So it was the first place I kind of looked when I thought about buying a bag. This is the most perfect short trip bag you could ever hope to have designed. I'm going to try and talk you through the main things I love about it, because it's so flipping clever. So it has a sort of double handle, but you also have a shoulder strap if you would like. Here is the size of it, my head for reference. It has this side pocket which you can unzip so that it fits over the top of like a suitcase handle. So if you're using this as your hand luggage, your carry-on luggage, you can slip this over the handle of your suitcase to make things really easy in the airport, which I flipping love. There are just so many amazing little touches. We have another side zip pocket that stays secure and closed on here. And at the bottom, this whole section zips off. And for most of my trips over the summer, I just kept it off because I just didn't need that extra size. So this is what that bottom section looks like. You can remove it, and in there you have that mesh. So you could put like wet or dirty things in their swimming costumes if you'd gone on a big beach day, or if everything was just muddy or dirty, you know, shoes, you can put it in there, keep it away from your clothes, and it has that mesh so it's kind of breathable. I sort of use it as putting my dirty washing in here and keeping it separate to my clean clothes. So many ideas, but most of the time I didn't need it, and then you just have a smaller, lighter bag. Then when it comes to the main bag, another feature I love is that you can open it up and it stays open. So when you're packing or unpacking, you can just literally see everything without having to constantly push the sides up. It stays out, which I flipping love. It has a keychain, so if you arrive at your hotel or wherever you're going, you don't have to root around for your keys. They're attached. Genius. Inside here you also have a separate laptop case or notebook case, which fits perfectly in the side. Oh my god, I just found the comb that I'd lost. Bonus. And then you have another couple of little zip pockets in there. I don't know if anyone else is going to be as excited about this bag as I was, but the second we arrived at my sister's, which was one of the trips we went on, I had to like immediately demonstrate it all to her and like force her to buy one, because it's life-changing. Okay, little trips, I'm flipping obsessed with it. I had to share it with you guys. It's amazing. So moving on to the more regular scheduled content. First up, we have a fragrance. It's been a little while since I had a new fragrance to talk to you about. in these monthly roundups. You may or may not know, I have a goal this year to purchase no more than 6 fragrances. So I've been very fussy, very picky compared to previous years. I don't want any more perfumes. I'm overflowing and I don't really want any more. I feel like my fragrance collection is now perfect. I'm not really missing anything. So in order for you to join it, you've got to really knock my socks off. Otherwise, you're just going to be redundant and unused and sad, and nobody wants that for you. So we're on 5 now, and this was number 5. This is Nishane's 100 Silent Ways X. So this is the extract version of the original 100 Silent Ways. I got a sample of this a few months ago, okay? I got a sample and I adored it. It was one of those, I could not stop smelling my wrist. I was obsessed with it. My husband is obsessed with it. He loves it. But because I'm so like picky about my fragrances and adding any more to my collection now, it made me want to try the original 100 Silent Ways. I was like, what if I prefer that? Because with these extract versions, people go, you know, either way. Some people prefer the extract, some people prefer the original perfume, and vice versa. Sometimes the extract performs better on you, sometimes it doesn't. I'm this way with the Baccarat Rouge 500. The extract doesn't perform as well on me as the original, and lots of people are the other way around. So I wanted to get a sample of the original before I decided. And I did love the original 100 Silent Ways when it arrived and I tried it out. It performed just as well, I would say, but it's a much younger fragrance for me. It's very sweet. This X version has sweetness to it, but the major difference is that the X version has a huge wallop of leather. The most perfect leather note, photorealistic leather note, that just really makes this fragrance much more of a grown-up's fragrance, much more mature, much less obvious and sort of expected. It's so flipping beautiful. It performs stunningly. So long wearing. When it first arrived, my full bottle, I sprayed one spray on my wrist and I could smell the fragrance from my wrist all day long. I was getting wafts of it, but it's not what I would call beast mode. Beast mode to me is room filling. You know, you can smell the fragrance before you see me. That's what I think of as beast mode. This is incredible performance without it being loud. So it gives me this sort of scent bubble that all around me as I walk about. If you come within a foot or 2 of me, you'll get a waft of it, but you won't be able to like not breathe, you know? And I can smell it on myself all day long, which is my main concern because I want to enjoy my own perfume and I get wafts of this all day long. It's just absolutely stunning, and I know it's going to be a top 5 ever. It has a sort of fruity opening with some florals in the middle, and then the dry down is leather, patchouli and vanilla. It's one of my all-time favorites. The bottle is beautiful. I can't stop smelling my wrist when I have this on, and I just absolutely love it. Wearable, not too masculine, right down the middle with some sweetness, juicy. Can't get enough. Now we have a couple of skincare items this month. First up, I want to talk about the Kate Somerville Supercell Rejuvenation serum. This was gifted to me, and this is the serum that comes with this roller on the top. Do you see that? You have this rolling mechanism. Very, very cool. What I love this for is my nighttime serum. So you essentially twist the cap, squeeze a bit out, then I close the cap, and then you use that roller as a sort of gua sha type of massaging treatment of an evening. I absolutely just love this. The roller is always cool. I don't keep it in the fridge or anything. It's just because it's that metal that it is cool, and it is just so lovely. It's lovely like self-caring treatment to yourself. I love using a gua sha. This is a little more gentle than that, and it really just is lovely treat in the evening. This feels very light, it absorbs really quickly, it has great sort of smoothing, firming ingredients, this one, so ideal nighttime active but not super harsh type of skincare serum. I'm really loving it. So grateful they sent this to me, because it's one of those that I think I would have felt was a bit gimmicky with the roller, but it's really actually lovely and I'm loving using it. And it's really kind of amped up my self-care in the evening, because I like to do my skincare routine in bed. You know, I take my makeup off at the sink, obviously brush my teeth, get into bed, and then I just pamper myself for like 15 minutes. And this has really added to that and I'm loving it. The other skincare item I want to talk about are Charlotte Tilbury's new eye patches. These are the Hollywood Skin Secrets Eye Revival patches. I have talked about eye patches many times on my channel. I flipping love it. I blame Tara Lynn for getting me into eye patches, because she is just, if anyone has these on 24 hours a day out of 7 days a week, it's Tara. She loves them and she's really got me into them as well. I flipping love an eye patch, okay? I said it. So these come with a little sort of spatula, and then inside here you have this lift up compartment, and then here are the eye patches inside. So I've been using these for a few weeks now. Charlotte Tilbury sent me these along with her new mascara, which we'll talk about in a moment. I love them. You get so many, you have 30 pairs. So even if you use these every single day, they're going to last you a whole month, which I really like. They just feel lovely and hydrating and fresh. If I'm going no makeup and I'm in my home, these are under my eyes. I love them. They're a really nice size and shape. They really do just make me feel really alive and awake, and it's a lovely feeling under the eyes. Are they necessary? No, they're definitely a luxury as opposed to like a need to have as part of your skincare routine. But if you do wake up with like puffy eyes or just tired, asleep eyes, which I don't know who doesn't, I know I do, give eye patches a try. These are lovely. And they also stay on, which some of them do tend to slide about and be a bit too slippy. These are a bit thicker than the average one that I've tried, and they stay put easier, I found. Next up, we had a lot of brushes over the last month. Let's start off with the new Rephr brush. This is the Rephr by Anele. This is the AA01 brush. Such a clever little brush, both with the size, the shape, the density. It's quite unique in my collection. It has that gorgeous but subtle soft slant to it, and it's quite airy, which just makes it very versatile. You could use this for so many things. Setting your eye, setting your powder, you know, it really can get quite close up into the corner of your eye. My favorite use, as you can probably tell from how it's looking, is blush. You know, you could use this for highlighter as well, contour, bronzer even, but this is the perfect little blush brush for me. It's so soft and gentle and light, so you're not going to get carried away and apply too much. It's not going to go somewhere you don't want it to very easily, and it just has the perfect angle and size for a lighter area blush application. It's designed to be used with creams or powders as well. Probably the ultimate versatility that I've ever witnessed from a brush, and quite a unique little number to my collection. So I think Rephr and Alex did an incredible job of that. Someone else who did an incredible job on a little brush set this month is Sofia, our gorgeous friend Sofia at Sofia Sees Beauty, who did this collaboration with Esum brushes. I just love this little curated collection. It's so clever. Especially the eye brushes. So the foundation brush I've really been enjoying, and I especially love this because it's quite diddy. I love to use this with my skin tint. So I used my Lisa Eldridge skin tint the other day, and it's because it's quite small and narrow in compared to a lot of my foundation brushes. Just really quick and easy, making sure you're getting near the hairline, around the nose. If you're using, you know, a product that you might also use on your eye area and get all over the place, which I don't typically with foundation, but I do with skin tints and something like my Charlotte Tilbury UV primer. This is perfect for that. This little brush I don't use so often. This I think will be perfect for contour, but you know me, I don't contour very often. So I haven't used this brush as much as the others in the collection, just because of the way that I do my makeup. This one, which is the V27, has become my go-to for using with my Lisa Eldridge silky shadows, which I would update you on in next month's video. But this is perfect for cream or liquid shadows. It's got a really nice flat very precise little size to it, really nice like edge. You could also use this for concealer, cleaning up eyeshadow. Again, very versatile, these brushes, many uses. I have been talking about this one over on my Instagram, the T05, possibly my favorite from the collection. Ideal. I used it today to do a little wing. You may have already seen that if you watch my makeup and movies video. I used this to do a powder wing. So precise. The perfect sort of density to precision, very narrow, nice and firm, so you've got maximum control with it to stamp your lower lash line if you want to tight line. Ideal little brush, a really nice blending brush, and then real, again, multitasking brush. This one you could use for concealer, liquid eyeshadow, primer on the lid, lots of very different uses. A great little set, perfect if you want a minimal brush collection, because pretty much you've got everything there that you could need. And then finally, I think my favorite brush set of the year so far is this new little trio from Sonia G, which contains my favorite ever bronzer brush. This is the TF1, and it is my dream bronzer brush, as if I designed it myself. You know, I love these stunning Keyaki handles. This line, always super soft, stunning handles, a joy to use. This is my dream bronzer brush. It's lighter and fluffier, less dense than a lot of bronzer brushes, and maybe slightly smaller than a lot of bronzer brushes, certainly narrower. So I get a sculpted bronze, it's not too much. It allows me to build in light layers, which gives you a really nice natural finish. It just is the perfect amount of bristles, type of bristles, shape of bristles for what I look for in a bronzer brush. I thought it didn't exist, and now finally Sonia has created it for us. She's so clever. This brush, the TF3, the perfect under eye setting brush. Do you see how precise that point is on that brush? It's just an absolute madness. It just is so precise that you can get right up there with your setting powder without it ever getting in your eye. I love this for just my setting powder, but you could use it for highlight, blush, probably even bronzer. Very versatile little set. And then the TF2, which I just love for blush. It's the perfect little blush brush for me, perfect size and shape. I love that set so much. Next up, let's talk about this Tom Ford Ford Metallic Mauve. I did do a review of this and a look with it, if you're interested in seeing it in action. This is another like but not a love for me from Tom Ford. I just don't think me and Tom Ford eyeshadows get along. Me and Tom Ford foundations, primers, blushes, lip products, we get along. But the eyeshadow and me, I just think I'm not a Tom Ford eyeshadow person, apparently. It's beautiful. It's so pretty and wearable. It's soft, it's elegant. It is kind of my typical shades, and it does have some pretty impact. But as I always feel like with these Tom Ford shadows, there's just nothing really wow factor in them. I really want him to just come along and knock my socks clean off my ankles, and he just refuses. He just always gives me something that's lovely, that's nice, but it's never a top drawer. It's never a use every day, can't wait, very excited to pick it up. It's always just, sure, it's nice, but that's just about it, you know? Next up, Whatsup Beauty sent me their new primer. This is the Positivity, a very cute little name, primer, and this is a lovely hydrating primer. So it's not my typical type of primer, but I have been enjoying it with the new Patrick Ta foundation, because this is a water-based primer and it is silicone free. So if you're looking for a primer that will work really nicely with a water-based foundation, this is a lovely one. Like, look at that before and after. So hydrating. It has some glow to it, but not an excessive amount. Really lovely and light on the skin. And like I said, if you're struggling to find a water-based primer because you have a water-based foundation, this is a lovely one. Next, we have this little quad from Pat McGrath that was so controversial. People really got cross about this quad, let me tell you. My comment section was a mess of rage over on Instagram when I posted my swatches. People are furious about it. I'm not sure why. I really like it. I think it's super pretty. I love the look that I did with this quad. It's quite different to anything else that I have. And yes, the shadows are they're a lot less pigmented and intense than Pat's usual shadows, like in her motherships. And maybe the payoff is not as much as people expected, but I feel like we are crying out all the time, Pat McGrath, give us something different, give us something different. And she did, and people didn't like it. So I don't know. I think we're giving mixed messages at that point, and maybe that's why she doesn't know what to give us. So she just keeps giving us the same thing for some reason. But I got a lot of fun out of this. I think it was very spring, so maybe it was released a little late. Maybe it would have been more successful in sort of March, April time as opposed to August. But I love this little colour story. Like I said, it's quite different. I think it's very pretty, and the fact that it's a little softer and less pigmented and rich, it makes it more wearable for me, because these are not colours I would typically wear day to day. But because they're a little softer than she typically goes for, it makes it more wearable, less intimidating for me, easier to use and wear as like a standalone colour story. And I just think it's a fun little quad. I do agree that the price point should have been lower, given that it's the more affordable packaging and it's the American formula as opposed to the Italian formula. So I do agree that it should have been probably £10 cheaper, but I enjoy it and I got lovely looks out of this, and I think it's super fun and pretty and a little bit different. So I think we should encourage her with these sort of slightly different colour stories. Otherwise we're going to get another pink mothership. So be careful what you wish for is what I'm saying. Next up, we have some more liquid blushes, this time from YSL, and more lovely liquid blushes. I chose 2 shades, so I picked up 37 and 44, and now I think the others are on their way to me, so I purchased these myself, but YSL are actually sending me the full collection, I believe, so I will be able to do swatches with all of the shades once those arrive. Again, I did do a full review and try on of these if you want to see them in action. So 37 is the peachier shade that I picked up, and 44 is the pinker or more mauvey shade that I chose. These are very easy to work with. They have, again, that kind of silicone-y, almost serum-y feel, very similarly to the Armani blushes that released a month or so before these. I think the colours in this range are just gorgeous, so beautiful, not overly pigmented, easy to use, easy to blend. Absolutely beautiful. The reason I said in my review, which I still stand by now, that I prefer the Hourglass of those 2 formulas. So I think these are very similar to the Armani. I prefer the Hourglass for the simple reason that they have a glowier finish. The YSL, they're quite a natural finish, and the Hourglass are quite glowy, and you know me, I'm a glowy girl, but there's nothing wrong with these. If you don't want so much glow, I would go for these. You get a lot of product, very generous, beautiful packaging, 15 mils, half a foundation. I'm checking again because I couldn't believe my eyes for a second. Half a foundation, okay, in here, and you only need a couple of dots. Very easy to work with, beautiful on the skin, really gorgeous packaging as always with YSL. Beautiful. And even me, having problems usually being afraid of liquids, found them very easy to work with. Gorgeous. Next up, I purchased a couple of random products this month from Chanel that I don't think were like new this month, but I just discovered them this month in my hunt as autumn is approaching for like beautiful caramelly delights and treats. And what I discovered is this blush from Chanel. So this is the shade Brume d'Or, and I don't think it's new. My God, I just got a mouthful of fragrance. Why did no one tell me about this? I've got a bone to pick with all of you. Why has no one ever mentioned this to me? I've never seen anyone even use it. Is it new? Or have you just all been gatekeeping it? Because, pardon? This is like the slightly richer version of Elegance. Elegance is almost invisible on me in summer. This is that little bit deeper than Elegance, but that stunning, glowy, bronzy, caramelly vibe of which all of my dreams are made up of. It's so beautiful, so pretty, so natural, and just a little easier for my skin tone than Elegance, which is a little light. I didn't understand why I didn't know about this. I also picked up a new shade of the Rouge Coco Blooms, which aren't new, but this is a limited edition shade, and I don't know where it came from, but again, caramel delights, hot chocolate for the lips. Yes, please. This is the shade Ease. As I said, limited edition, hurry, because it's gorgeous, but I just randomly picked these up while I was shopping for, what was I shopping for? Oh, the new blushes. I was waiting for the new powder cream blushes from Chanel. They were quite late coming to the UK on the Chanel website, and I was checking it every day and fell down a rabbit hole and then ended up buying other things to keep me occupied while I was waiting for those. So that's how I discovered these products, but absolutely gorgeous and perfect for autumn. So I'm very excited for those. It's got me excited to film my autumn favorites, which will be coming soon. And speaking of an autumn appropriate favorite, let's talk about the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette. Oh. Now I've had a few questions because you guys know how much I love Natasha Denona's Glam face and eye palettes. The light variety particularly. Only the eyeshadows though. The face products can stay in there. I never use them. But the eyeshadow quint that is in that palette has been one of my all-time favourite go-tos for like date night, night out, drinks with the girls, that sort of thing. And this is like that in a midi palette. I'm delighted. It's all those same tones. When I heard I Need a Warm, and I saw the pictures, I was expecting something more akin to the bronze palette, and I just don't like those really, really orangey warm, really coppery warm tones that are like in the bronze palette. They're not my favourite shades. This runs far more neutral than the bronze palette does, and then I was expecting, based off the name, you know, there are much more sort of neutral leaning shadows in here, and the shimmer is just delightful. It's exactly what I wish to use sort of every day for my everyday look, and a whole 15 shades to choose from. There are no duds. There's nothing in here I won't use, and I've just been loving it. I've barely been using anything else, honestly. It's so beautiful. It's just a dream, and I can literally pick anything in here and it's going to be gorgeous. There's nothing missing. I feel like we've got the right balance of mattes and shimmers and much less sort of repeats or too close copies within this colour story. I think we've got this really right. I love the packaging. This is probably going to become, I think, my favourite midi palette from Natasha, because I think the I Need a Nude was maybe a little too cool for me, especially on my summer skin tone. It could pull a little too cool. And then a lot of the others are sort of, you know, if I'm feeling a bit more fun than usual, I'll love and reach for them. This I feel like is me to a T. It's just the perfect sweet spot. I'm absolutely delighted with it. Next up, let's talk about this Charlotte Tilbury Exaggereyes mascara. I actually purchased this myself, and then I received one along with the eye patches to try. So I've been giving this a good go, and I really enjoy it. I really like it. I'm wearing it today, and I have noticed actually I liked it more as it aged, which is quite typical with mascaras. When you first open them, they're almost like too wet, a lot of mascaras, and then as they kind of start to dry out a bit as they age, and you keep adding air in every time you take the wand in and out of the tube, and they just improve with that extra bit of thickening up of the formula. What I love about the push-up lashes mascara from Charlotte Tilbury, that is my holy grail, has been for many years, that one starts off day one, bang out the gate, perfect. And it stays perfect for months until it runs out. This one I feel like did benefit from a bit of aging. When I first used it, I thought, oh, it's just not as dramatic as I wanted it to be or as I expected it to be from like the photos and the marketing and the name. But as it's now like, I'm gonna say a couple of weeks old, and I've used it that entire fortnight, it's really coming into its own. I've got a much more dramatic look from it, no clumping, lots of volume and lift. I still do think I prefer the push-up lashes. I just find it to give me that more separated, spikier effect. So I think that one still is my favorite, but I think this is a gorgeous mascara. It doesn't transfer or flake. It's averagely easy, neither easier or harder to remove than other mascaras. There's no real negatives to it. I just think the style of lashes that I prefer, the push-up lashes, is more suited to. This one is a bit more of a volumizing mascara. So beautiful, does exactly what it says on the tin. If you got one new, tried it once or twice and didn't love it, give it another try, okay? Because to me, it definitely is getting better as it ages, which, like I said, is typical of most mascaras. Just that push-up lashes mascara is special. So I don't think she has been toppled from Topspot. Next, we had a lot of new releases from Dior in August, and I jumped all over them. They were all very exciting releases for me, and I got straight involved. So I picked up 3 of the duos. I got 2 blush duos and 1 contour and highlight duo. So the blushes come with a corresponding highlighter, and then there are 2 contour and highlighter duos to choose from. I picked the deeper one because, having seen the lighter one on people with a similar skin tone to me, it just didn't show. What I'm really pleased about is, since I filmed my review of all of these new Dior products, which is already up in case you missed it and want to see these products in action, since I did that video, I have been in and seen these products in person and tried the lighter duo, and it literally is the color of my skin tone. So there's no way I would have been able to use that, and I was pleased that I picked this shade up. That being said, this one is a bit too deep for me. This as a contour, it is quite deep for my skin tone, certainly in summer, as is the highlighter. I have to be very careful and strategic, and even then, it just doesn't quite suit my skin tone. So I feel like we should have had at least 1 more in the middle of the light and the deep. We needed at least 1 more. We probably could have done with a deeper one as well, maybe make it 4. 2 is just never going to be enough to fit everybody or even to fit many people. So that is the issue with the contour duo. I feel like this one is a little deep for me. The light one is much too light. I don't really have a shade that works perfectly for me, so I'm not finding myself using this one at all. But these 2 blush duos, so I picked up 457, which I think is the one I used in my review, and I think I went back for 257 because I just loved the first one that I used so much that I needed another one. And this blush, it is subtle on me, but it does show, and it is gorgeous. I love both of these duos so much. The formulas are stunning. They feel strangely a little rough when you swatch with your finger, but on the cheek, they're stunning. So smooth and flattering. I think the coral is better for my skin tone, but I can absolutely use the sort of more pinky duo now with some building, and I certainly will be able to use that in the winter, and they're just so pretty. I have been using these a lot, and they did go straight in my top drawer, so that goes to show they're getting a lot of use, and I am continuing to love and use them a lot. We then had a bronze slash contour stick, so I think there were 3 shades of contour and 1 bronzer. Is that correct, or is it 2 and 1? I forget, but I went with the warm bronzer shade. So this is supposed to be a universal, which we know isn't a thing. But there's only 1 shade that is bronzer, and the other shades available in the stick are all much cooler contour shades. So I went for the bronzer because I just don't contour very often. So I knew I would get more use out of this. And that obviously is a very heavy swatch, but I'm just going to tap this into the skin and show you how easily this blends out. This stick is a dream. I don't use a lot of cream products, as you guys know, very regularly. I tend to sort of review them, but then I go back to my powders because I'm just more comfortable. I just find them easier to work with. This bronzer stick has gone in my top drawer, okay? Never has a cream or liquid contour or bronzer stick gone in there before. Okay, it's a revolution. I flipping love this packaging. It's so chic and simple but stunning, and I just find it so quick and easy to use. I love the tone of this. It melts into the skin seamlessly, and obviously I did do a very heavy swatch today, but you can use a tiny amount and really it looks so natural. I love that stick. I've been using it a lot. As have I been using the foundation stick. Again, stunning packaging. The shiny component is the foundation and the matte component is the bronzer or contour sticks. Gorgeous touches. I love it. This foundation stick is my favorite foundation stick ever. It's actually toppled the Tom Ford foundation stick as my favorite ever, which is great news because we think the Tom Ford foundation stick has been discontinued. So now I have not only a replacement, but it's improved on that one. I love this so much. Never did I ever think that a foundation stick would make it into like my top 5 foundations or into like my everyday rotation of foundations, which this one has. It's just perfect. It looks so natural on the skin. It glides across the skin so easily, barely with a touch. You use the smallest amount, and you can even use a beauty blender to blend this into the skin, which I find isn't typical of stick foundations because, you know, you swipe them on and then it's kind of, it needs buffing in because there's quite a heavy sort of cream, you know, stripe on your cheek. This, it melts into the skin. We barely need to touch it. It's so natural. It has this gorgeous luminosity without being dewy or too glowy. It's just a beautiful, healthy bit of radiance to the skin. So smooth and flattering. Wears so well. I have truly tried and tested this in every type of situation throughout the last few weeks, and it's never let me down. And it's just so easy to control where you want your coverage and to build. You easily can get a sort of medium to full coverage out of this, or use a few dots and get a really nice light amount of coverage. I love everything about it. It's beautiful on the skin, super flattering and reliable. And you can literally, you know, slip this in your handbag and do some touch-ups throughout the day if you need to. Gorgeous. My all-time favorite stick foundation. Hallelujah. I love it when we have a new holy grail. I love it. It's so exciting. And there you have it. That is everything new that I tried in the month of August. Please let me know your thoughts on all of this new makeup. More and more is coming. I'm racing to try and keep up with everything. If something wasn't mentioned in this video that you think I have reviewed recently, it's because actually it was in the month of September, so you'll see that in next month's roundup. There is a lot. Launches are just coming thick and fast. It's raining launches, and it will be until the middle of December, as we know. Now, holiday launches are coming already. We've had the hourglass. Help us. Pray for us and our wallets, okay? So it's raining launches. There's a lot going on. We need to be, you know, we need to pick and choose our favorites, and we've had some really excellent launches in the last few weeks. It's very exciting. So I hope this was helpful to kind of pick out what is really worth your money or your time or your consideration, and what is kind of, you know, we have that already. We've seen that. It's not so special. I will always give you the true tea, you know that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.